Hi, this video will demonstrate how to multiply matrices. This is slightly different than adding and subtracting because now the columns of the first matrix must equal the number of rows in the second matrix in order for you to multiply them. So what you're going to want to do is write the dimension of your first matrix. So here I have A, the dimensions are 2 by 2, and then write the dimensions of your second matrix. Here I have 3 rows and 1 column. And what you're going to want to do is look and see if the number of columns, or the second number in your first matrix, matches up to the number of rows in your second matrix. In this first example, I have 2 columns in my first matrix and 3 rows in my second matrix. So I cannot multiply them. All right? They must be equal. The number of columns in my first matrix must equal the number of rows in my second matrix for me to be able to multiply them. Here I have another example. A has 3 rows and 2 columns, and B has 2 rows and 3 columns. Well, look, my number of columns in my first matrix matches up to the number of rows in my second matrix, so I can multiply them. So that is a check. And the result will be what is left on the outside. So my new matrix, after I multiply them, will be a 3 by 3. So let's look at multiplying the two matrices. Okay? So the way I'm going to do that, okay, what I'm going to do is say 3 times -2 and then plus -1 times 9. So I'm going to take my rows and multiply them by my columns and add them together. All right? So my first element will be 3 times -2 plus -1 times 9. All right? And then working across, I've got 3 times 5. This is going to be my next element. 3 times 5. -1 plus -1 times -7. My last column on my first row will be 3 times -3 plus -1 times 0. All right? And now I'm going to continue. I've taken care of my first row in A. Now I'm going to jump down to my second row and repeat the process. 1 times -2, so I've got 1 times -2 plus 0 times 9. All right? And then I move on to the next column of B. 1 times 5 plus 0 times -7. And now I do the last column. 1 times -3 plus 0 times 0. And now I do the last row of A and the last by every column in B. -2 times -2 plus -4 times 9. -2 times 5 plus -4 times -7. And then the last one, -2 times -3 plus -4 times 0. So now I've gone through the steps. Remember, across and then down, across and then down, across and then down, across and then down. Okay? And now I'm ready to write my final answer. I've got 3 times -2 is a -6 plus a -9, so this is going to be -15. I've got 1 times a -2, which is -2, plus 0 times 9, which is 0, so this is just -2. I've got -2 times -2, which is a +4, plus a -36, which gives me a -32. Here I've got 15 plus 8, which gives me 22. Here I've got 5 plus 0. Here I've got minus 10 plus 28. Oh, minus 10 plus 28, yeah, gives me an 18. Here I have minus 9 plus 0, that's a minus 9. Here I have minus 3 plus 0, that's a minus 3. And here I have a positive 6 plus 0, which is 6. All right. I know this looks a little difficult, but you will pick it up after you practice. And in the meantime, feel free to write it out like I've done here. Just take each element, multiply them, add them to the next one.